here we go. Welcome to Browns Out of Town, episode number 2. We'll get to the point of the whole thing here in a minute, but just wanted to thank everybody for downloading the first episode. Make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, give us money. That'd be way cool because some of us don't have jobs right now. So if we could, if we got 60 people to give us $1,000, that's a pretty good yearly salary, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think we can do a little bit with that.
I mean, we could split it half and half. So that's 30 G's each way. I mean, that's livable.
Yeah, I can make do.
So if we get 60 people to give us $1,000, that'd be cool. Even if 10 people gave us $5, that'd be even way better. Because you can see behind me, I don't have the green screen up because my shit's not set up right now. So, because it was inconvenient and it's tough in the new spot. So that'd be cool. Money always helps every problem. Just ask Donald Trump. So make sure you follow us on the social media at Browns Out of Town. And then I did want to give a shout out to at Zach J. Harris. He hit us up on the Instagram. He's in Wisconsin as well. Now that I'm officially in Wisconsin, gave me the lead on a Milwaukee Browns backers that aren't on the website when I looked it up the last time. So it always helps. It's a good hub to get people's information. We're doing this once a week right now. So if you want updated information, Jimmy's been doing a great job putting stuff up on the Instagram. One of us has to do the Twitter, but that's something we can worry about later. Or it doesn't matter because Twitter's dead. That brings us to our next part. I already swore once. I just wanted to make sure that we know that swearing is going to happen. It's a Browns podcast. It's a sports podcast. We're not going to do it all the time. Jimmy has a child, so I want to make sure that she can listen to it at some point sooner rather than later, so we're going to do that. But we're going to keep it real, and it's going to happen on accident. I forgot to introduce us. I'm Ray Roberts. You can follow me at my stupid shit at whoisrayroberts.com. Jimmy Crawford, what do you want to pimp out?
Let's go with Ad Fears Bourbon Barbecue. Just had a post right before this recording here. Go check that out.
Okay. Anything else? Do you have a website for that yet or no?
No website, just the Instagram.
That's fine. I mean, that works. So check that out. It's a great spot for you. Want to hit a move update. I am officially out of Ohio now, so this is not a sham podcast. I am out of town. Liking it so far. Had cheese curds the first night that I lived here, so got that knocked out of the way with. I know. I put a tweet out that was I'm just going to ask everybody who has cheese curds, and that's how I'm going to say hello to everybody until I get some.
I think that is how you say hello in Wisconsin. I thought that was standard.
Well, when you drive up here, so it's the move was fine. It was 8 hours, every bit of 8 hours. I mean, the drive was 7.5, but you drive by some pretty cool stuff in Gary, Indiana, which is just a trash city to drive through. But you drive by, it's called the Cheese Castle, so that was kind of cool. That's right when you drive through Wisconsin. So there's a bunch of cool stuff up here. We've hit a couple local parks to do some walks, and it's been nice. It seems cool. Everybody's been super cool. Shout out to Rounding Third. It's a bar in Milwaukee that I did an open mic at on Sunday. The guy talked to me. He's a Bengals fan. He was born in Wisconsin as a Bengals fan, so we got to talk AFC North for a minute. Yeah. Because I told him I was a Packers fan growing up, and then I wanted to stick with the Browns. And he's like, yeah, I grew up, I guess he's from, from the Buffalo area originally, but was a Bengals fan because he grew up, during the Esiason years and stuff like that. So who knows? Anything new in your life before we jump into the world that is the NFL and the Browns?
No, I just wanted to, shout out the Browns fans in Gary, Indiana. We are a Browns Out of Town podcast. There could be Browns listeners there. I don't want to, offend them too badly. It doesn't smell that bad. Gary doesn't, so.
Nobody said anything about the smell of Gary, Indiana.
They didn't? Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad then. Sorry, Gary.
A lot of great people from Gary, Indiana.
Yeah,
the
I glassed over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird time. Have you ever driven through there?
Yeah, it stinks. I mean,
this whole podcast is just going to be burying Gary, Indiana. Hey,
but still, follow, like, rate, subscribe, support, whatever you do, Gary. Good for you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
move to a better town. You can do that as well. But no, it was fine. It's just weird. Like they have that random like train that runs right through the town. And it's very disorienting. Like
Yeah.
it's honestly like a Fallout level in there. It almost
That
feels
is a
like.
good description. Yeah, it's like Fallout.
Yeah, and it's
Just
like
a
they have like
wasteland.
a
Yeah.
metro for no reason. Like the city's not that whatever. Okay, we're not gonna bury Indiana. Let's bury David and Joku instead.
Yeah.
What a clown. Uh,
I Dude, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just Rosenhaus, honestly, and I know we're gonna get to him, but it's funny because we talked about it last week. That we're excited to have the two tight end set, which makes complete sense in a Stefanski system. He loves two tight ends, and I don't. It goes back to why Clowney wouldn't join the team. You would think that Austin Hooper would only elevate in Joku's game, but he doesn't see it that way.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about having the Instagram too to pair with this is that we had this last week. We talked about it. We were wondering what the hell was going to happen. It feels like Duke Johnson last year, where like
Yeah,
you can't have an embarrassment of riches. I mean, running back's different than tight end because there's only so many
yeah,
balls around to throw anyways. But with running back, you have less of a chance and you can make more of an impact in a three back set. I mean, look at the 49ers. I mean, that's what they
yeah,
did is have three running
yeah,
backs and they kind of did it. And Duke Johnson threw a wrench in that. But with the two, if you look at the Patriots, not to bring up the Patriots every podcast, they're just the best football team over the last 30 years. And like you have two tight ends like Aaron Hernandez when he wasn't busy killing people, like him and Gronkowski were a great tandem and it opened up the field.
right. Yeah, I mean, as a tight end, you shouldn't expect that many balls to begin with because you should be, blocking and if anything, being a distraction. If you're that talented, you shouldn't. I mean, Gronk opened up the field for Edelman countless times in New England. You know what I mean? Granted, he was getting the ball, but Gronk is Gronk. He's a completely different talent spectrum than Joku is, or
Right.
even
Austin
Austin Hooper.
Hooper's not catching 1,000
Yeah,
balls a season. Like he's a good tight end because of what he does when he's got the ball, you know?
right, right. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And you have
But
to catch
I
the ball
mean,
first, which, like you said, we're
yeah,
going to get to
he's got stone
Rosenhaus.
hands.
Like, who is he just doing this as a charity case? Like, is Njoku good enough for Drew Rosenhaus, or is he
I
just
don't
like,
I don't think that Rosenhaus is that great of an agent, though. I mean, he's a big name because he has all the big time guys, but like, I, it just seems like he's got the troubled guys though too. You know what I
he's
mean? Like,
impressive to me. There was like what was it like before E60 or 30 for 30 or whatever? There like when he had TO as a client, I'm sure he still
yeah,
does. But like they had like that thing where they interviewed him, like they had a whole thing on SportsCenter or whatever about how like he has a house phone in every room and he doesn't believe in cell phones because he doesn't want like to be out of coverage when people call and like he'll be on dates and take calls from his clients. Like he wants them to call him all the time. Like he's got
yeah,
phones in the showers and you just like, all right, dude, we get it. Like you're the super agent, but at a certain point, what's the deal?
yeah. I don't know. He's the kind of guy I think that just gets in dudes' ears, because if he negotiates a better contract, he gets more money. So
Which is true, but I mean, he's also got to. He's not going to get more money somewhere from a trade this year, and so what? He's going to go play for like, let's say he goes to the Texans, like Duke Johnson, because Bill O'Brien
yeah.
will take anybody. Like he goes down there and he thinks that the Texans are going to give him more money. Like, is he? I don't get it at
I
all.
mean, that's what you have to bank on is you're gonna get traded and you're gonna have a good year and then you're gonna restructure, or renegotiate.
Yeah, I don't know. Send him. I don't even know what hole we really need other than the glaring hole that Jadeveon Clowney could have filled, but decided that he didn't want to for no reason.
Right.
Did you
Yeah.
see that interview on McAfee by chance?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, so I was just watching it again. Big McAfee fan show. So if
Was
he
it
wants to,
today?
it was yesterday. The
Oh,
Charles
I might have missed
Robinson
it.
from Yahoo Sports was on there, and he
Oh no,
was
I missed
saying,
it.
okay, so he said that because everybody wanted to give Clowney a 1 year deal for like 15,
Yeah.
and that was like what he said, and I guess the number that he wants is 20, and the Browns even offered him. What was the thing? They said that they offered him 18 to 19 million a year, and it was a multiple year deal. So he was going to be like set on money for like it was like a 2 or 3 year deal for 18 or 19, and Clowney
Yeah,
and his people turned it down.
that's that seems not a great business decision. Who is his agent? I wonder.
I don't know. We can look that up. Oh, it's the same people that because he said it. It's the same people that rep Miles Garrett. Like they have the same agent.
Oh, is it Bus Cook?
It
No,
might
that's
be.
not right anymore. I wish I was quicker at this.
Bus Cook. It is.
Okay.
Because there and that was like what this Charles guy said is that like they tried dealing with the Clowney thing for a while, and they're like, screw it. Like we've already got one of your people here who likes playing in Cleveland, who is a great player, great locker room guy. Why don't we just work on like giving you money for Miles Garrett instead? Like
Yeah,
I guess it was a Clowney turned out. Like it wasn't really even their people.
that's so weird. Yeah, I don't understand that. It has to just be that it's Cleveland or something. I don't understand that though. It works so much better in the NBA getting these guys together through free agency. And granted, there aren't many big moves in the NFL when it comes to free agency compared to the NBA. But you would think that these guys would want to work together because their game is going to reflect in other aspects. Like if Miles is getting double teamed, then Jadavian's can be open. That's how football works. Like there's only
Yeah,
so many guys on the field.
it's 11 on 11, and one of
Yeah,
the guys is under center, so
yeah,
it's 11 on 10. So like,
yeah,
and it just doesn't make sense. Like I get that you don't want to live in Cleveland all year round, but the season's what, 3 months, 4 months? Like
yeah,
you can live wherever the hell you want the rest of the year. Buy a
yeah. I
second
don't get that.
house. Like you don't like LeBron wasn't living in Cleveland all year round. Like they had their hotel at the Nine. I mean, they had their house in Bath or whatever, but like you get your spot there for the season, then you go do whatever you want. Like
Yeah,
it is what it is. Like you're a millionaire for a reason, and for with nobody else offering you more. I guess the number that was thrown out there for Seattle was like 14 or 15 for a year, and they're
yeah.
not touching it.
And
So,
Seattle knows like what he is too. You know what I mean? Like if they're not going to pay him more, I don't.
and we're paying him
I
more
would
just
be
because we
fine with.
have the money and because we have
Yeah,
somebody who's going to unlock him. Like that's going to
yeah,
be
exactly. We see the potential in it. It's mind blowing, but
well, and that's kind
alas, it
of
is Cleveland.
well, the Vernon contract now. Like a lot of people. So I brought that up because the Vernon contract. I mean, you can get into it because you looked at the numbers more and changed it around more. But it looked like they opened up more money. I mean, we have the money anyways. You don't need to open up
Right.
more money, which is
Yeah.
smart to do. I mean, you always want to open up more money if you can.
Yeah.
But like, it would seem like they're looking at. I mean, I know we are going to sign Miles Garrett for the price of the team, but like, it looks like they're moving it around for somebody new.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this deal. I mean, if he does play all season and we didn't do anything with the deal, then we pay him 15 mil. But if he's with us all season or not, because it's a guaranteed deal now, we pay him 11 mil. But it frees up a little over 4 million for us, which hopefully we spend
On something.
but
Like you can't.
yeah,
We've got a
which
good.
is weird because they've had like so many additions, but it just still seems like we're missing something.
I mean, a leader on the team. I mean,
Yeah,
we've got. I mean, the
veteran
guy that.
presence.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's a very young team. I mean,
Yeah.
the veteran presence is Jarvis Landry, who's been hurt.
And he's like 27.
Yeah, like he's been
Yeah,
around and he's been great, but like he came from Miami where they didn't like him for no reason. When
right.
he caught 1,000 passes, like, and then you've got OBJ, who's again nobody liked him in New York for no reason. I mean, who are you gonna follow on that team? Like, it just it's weird. They need to bring it, even just to give somebody money. Like I would say, sign Josh McCown again, just to have him around to like hang out.
He was a good morale booster. Yeah. Hey guys,
Yeah,
it could be worse.
right. And he would come in and like,
Yeah.
he could come in and still win games. Like the dude's a stud. Like
Yeah.
it's not like he's a scrub, anyways. But other than that, I mean, so on the list was the OBJ and Landry. They said Stefanski said OBJ's at 100% now, so that'd be great. He looks
Yeah.
good running routes with other quarterbacks in the offseason and full camera squads around him at all times, which is cool.
Yeah. I'd like to see him. It sucks that he's healthy, and now we don't have any OTAs, mini camps, barely any training camp. It sounds like, you know.
Yeah, if you're Baker
But
Mayfield, you get on the next plane out there. Like it looks like the guy's house is big enough to like he's got a field in his backyard. Go out there, run some
yeah,
routes.
I don't want to dog OBJ because everybody dogs OBJ, but I do kind of wish he would just go to Baker. Like Baker shouldn't have to go to him,
Yeah, I
But
mean you saw that with the Tom Brady thing. Like Randy Moss was out in California with Tom Brady all
yeah,
summer that year.
yeah,
I mean, there's also the COVID thing. So like if he's
yeah. I know
allowed
it's a
to
whole
fly out
situation,
there or whatever. So
right?
you kind of see that. Landry looks like he's rehabbing, so hopefully he's ready a couple weeks in. He's shown his scars and everything, but he said he's at like 80% or something like that. I think I
I'll take
saw.
it. That's not bad. Yeah,
No, I mean he played
especially for
decent last year.
how minimal activity they're gonna have, so he'll have time to heal more before the season starts. So that's
Yeah,
good.
which is yeah, it is good. And then again, COVID update on week 2. I guess this is going to be. I mean, it's going to be the big story all year round, anyways. They dropped 2 of the preseason games, so there's only 2 preseason games for before the season. And then the NFLPA voted to get rid of the preseason completely, so they can give it another couple weeks for the season to start.
So there is no preseason now. I haven't seen that yet.
The owners haven't dropped it. Like the PA
Oh,
all
but the
voted
Players
together,
Association wants
yes, that
to.
they're
Yeah.
fine with dropping
Okay.
it. Which obviously they're fine dropping it. I mean, they
Yeah.
don't want to
They make no
play.
money. They make like $600 or something a game
Well, right, and they
in those
played for
games.
like 15 minutes, and they got to fly to
Yeah.
like fucking Cincinnati for no reason,
Yeah.
which is again another garbage town. I actually like Cincinnati. I almost went there. Shout out to Cincinnati. Well, let's talk about the man of this episode, because we already dove into that deeper than I thought it was going to be. We want this to be timeless, Jimmy. You got to you got to stop me from talking shit too long.
True.
But it's fine. We're going to talk about the quarterback, our quarterback, numero 6. Jimmy's got the jersey on this time, actually representing. We'll get a picture of that later. Thing that I learned about Baker Mayfield, because everybody knows the story, walk on to Texas Tech, walks on to Oklahoma, goes on to be the number 1 pick. Also, number 1 quarterback with the middle name of Reagan. Did not know that.
Oh, there you go. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, shout out to Wikipedia. I was like, they're like Baker, Reagan, Mayfield. I don't know if he wants to have that advertised because, I mean, whatever, gender roles and whatnot. But I actually
Okay,
kind of
there
like
could be
it.
worse middle names. Okay. So.
It's a family name. Baker Reagan Mayfield the third. Like you guys could get a T-shirt. There's our first merch.
Yeah.
But yeah, little bio. He played high school ball, Austin, Texas. Went to Texas Tech as a walk-on. They say Wikipedia again said that the story is he's the first ever walk-on freshman to start the season for somewhere. So I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look that up, but the quarterback hurt his back. Was the 2013 Offensive Freshman Player of the Year in the Big 12, which they don't have defenses, so that's a big deal to be the Offensive
Yeah.
Player of the Year. And then they had a fallout with the staff at Texas Tech. Walked on to Oklahoma. There was that whole thing where he lost the season to that. Walked on, ended up getting to start again. And then I'm going to list off everything that he won at Oklahoma here.
Go for it.
All right. So we got the Heisman, obviously. We got the Maxwell Award, Walter Camp Award, Davey O'Brien, which is the best QB, AP Player of the Year that year, 2-time Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, 2-time All-American, and 3-time All-Big 12. And my note in the doc is the guy was really good in college.
He was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was real good. But everybody hated him for brashness.
Various reasons. Yeah, everything.
Like
he's the next Johnny Manziel. Yeah.
Yeah, they said the next Johnny Manziel, but like Johnny Manziel never threw 470 against Akron. All right, so
yeah, it's true.
It was pretty
Very
close. True. Just watching it, like I was reading through his stats on some of his first seasons, and I forget what was the team. I forget who it was, but it was like he had thrown it was like a Browns game. It was 100% a Browns game
Oh
where
yeah,
he had thrown 2 interceptions until the fourth quarter. Maybe it was West Virginia, and he just comes through and he's like, "All right, we're just gonna win this game now." Like he just turned it on, which I think that's a problem we're gonna have to deal with. Where I
yeah,
think he now learned that he can't just turn it on through the
yeah,
season. It's got to
yeah.
be consistent.
Hopefully he can get a little bit of that back. Yeah,
I would hope so. I mean, it would also help that people actually are healthy and work with people, so that'd be cool.
yeah, and have some
Um,
sort of offensive line.
yes, I mean we do. It's held together with duct tape right now.
Right.
But one of the reasons, or here are the few of the reasons that people didn't like him, and a lot of times these are the reasons why I did like him. Just because I did like Johnny Manziel. I was a Johnny Manziel guy. Obviously, history has proved me wrong. Johnny Manziel officially retired since our last episode.
I
So
saw
shout out
that.
to Johnny
Yeah, I saw
Manziel.
that. He was fighting with people in his Instagram comments, I guess, over the weekend.
For what? What is there
Getting
to
in some
fight about?
trouble. I have no idea. I couldn't look into it. I didn't really care. I just
When the
saw that he was calling
Alouettes
people
don't
names.
want you, like, what are
Yeah.
you gonna do?
When he's not allowed in the XFL, like that's your league, Johnny. You're not allowed in. Like what the hell?
Yeah, that'd be the best. That's the perfect spot for him. And they're
I
just
know.
like, nah.
Well, now the whole league's like nah because
Yeah,
it's
that's
gone.
also
But
true.
yeah,
Pay Oliver Luck, fucking XFL. Um,
Oliver Luck needs to pay the players that he didn't pay.
well, that's not him.
Okay, Vince.
Yeah, Vince McMahon's a trash person. Like, who's
Mm.
had a worse 2020 than Vince McMahon? Like, he left all those people in Abu Dhabi when, like, they were going to try to, like, kill everybody. And then
That was in 2020. I thought that was last year.
it might
I
have
think
been
that was
late
last year.
2019.
I
All
think
right,
I think
fine.
that
We'll
was
say the
2019.
last 12
Yeah,
months. All right.
sure,
But,
that works.
like,
Yeah,
so it's in there. And then the XFL were like, it actually had some steam. Like, I liked watching the games. And then he just like it just goes defunct because the virus takes it out, and then he's just like
right.
not gonna pay anybody, and then his name's gotten dragged. Like even wrestling people have dragged his name.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty common knowledge that Vince McMahon's a DOS, I think, but
He's the
back to
Gary
Baker
Indiana
Mayfield.
of pro sports
Yeah,
promoters.
he, yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Gary. All right, cool. We'll
Is that gonna be a
start.
recurring bit now?
I guess I don't. We'll probably. I'll forget by next time. I'll have to make a
Yeah,
note
I
in the
know.
doc to
Whatever.
bring it up. Cool. So we've got the public intox in Arkansas, which to me, like, it took a while for me to see that video, but like, of course, like the week going up to draft day, like they showed it
Yeah,
1,000 times, and I was like, if he can take that hit and still get up from it, he's
yeah.
good. Like,
Here's the thing about that. I could give a shit less about that, and here's the reason why. Are you trying to tell me that, given the right circumstances, that you and me in 2010, 2011 would not have done the same thing?
oh, 100%. We're just not. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not Baker Mayfield. Like, we're not gonna
We
be.
were never confronted in that situation. Like,
No.
but there's plenty of times that could have happened.
Oh, 100%. Like, and
Like
there were
over and
like
over again.
there
Yeah.
were times that we were like looking for it. Like it's I mean maybe not so much you, but like in our group of people, it just had. Oh, I gotta talk to you after this about one of our friends. But
Great. I look forward to that.
um, but like it happened. Like I guess from like the situation, because of course I read back on it a little bit. Like he was out drinking, he was chirping a little bit. He was like in a confrontation with somebody. Then the cop showed up. They told him to stay still. He realized, oh shit, I'm Baker Mayfield in a situation I shouldn't be at.
Yeah.
Ran away. They ended up tackling him against a brick wall, and he got back up. Looked like a champ.
Such a good
though.
hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, such a good hit.
I was
Yeah.
like, this dude's durable. Like if Myles Garrett hit him in the head with the helmet, we wouldn't have had to suspend him the rest of the year because he's a real.
Do you think if that didn't happen, he gets any Johnny Manziel comparisons? Like
No.
outside of like their same, the way they play the game. But I don't think those comparisons are that strong if that doesn't happen.
No, it was just he was the party. He's a shorter quarterback who
Yep.
moved around a little bit, liked to improv. So he didn't even really play like him that much. He didn't have the legs that
No,
Manziel
yeah.
did.
He was they just he was a little bit mobile and he was shorter. Those are the only comparisons. I
He
think,
liked to
outside
party.
of
He had fun,
right.
and he got arrested the one time. Had to do like 30 hours of like of community service. Like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason. And it's just easy to bury a guy who has a good time and likes to talk shit and then gets caught doing
Yeah.
something. Like if he wouldn't have
Right.
gotten caught doing that, like he would have just been the guy who talks shit and he's fiery. Now he's got a record.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like you add the other stuff on the list, the Kansas crotch grab, which I don't think is his fault. Like the guy, I mean, it is his fault. He grabbed his crotch and like flicked off the crowd and told them to go fuck themselves. Which I mean, you're not supposed to do.
Told him to
But
go watch basketball.
yeah, like that's great. Yeah, he's playing against Kansas and he's talking to shit.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have any reason
it's
to.
It's good thought process. You know, he's quick.
Yeah, he's good. It's great improv, like knocking down hecklers. But like if you shake the dude's hand before the game, you don't have this to worry about at all. Like it's the Richard Sherman thing all over again, where Richard Sherman says he doesn't shake his hand. Dude's there to talk some shit, but he will shake your hand.
We don't even have that on this list, and that's something that's, you know, notable of just why does this guy draw this kind of bad attention? You know what I mean? It's so annoying.
Well, I mean, some of it he does bring on himself. The Ohio flag plant I have on the list because, I mean, I was watching that game. Was it game 1 or game 2 of the season? Like, it was way early in the season.
It was game 2, I think.
It was the first big game of the season, really, for OSU. Big Ohio State. Yeah, weird thing about Wisconsin. Don't care about Ohio State. That's the first time that's ever happened in my life.
Yeah.
It's like you go into a bar and you're like, there's no pictures of Eddie George up here at all. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, you won't see those. You'll get a couple Joe Thomas, you know. Russell Wilson's probably big out there, right?
I don't know. I haven't seen any Russell Wilson stuff.
No. Yeah, so that was it was week 2. I think Ohio State was ranked 2nd, and I don't remember what Oklahoma was, but
6th.
It was a bit. It was
maybe 4?
maybe something like that. I know they weren't number 1, so it was definitely an upset, you know. But
yeah, I mean, so again, here's the thing that I didn't like about the flag plant. You played on the field for 4 quarters, kicked the shit out of them. You beat them. I remember that game top to bottom. It was not even really a game. Like, I mean, it was kind of close, but not really. But you played on the field. You know that it's turf. What are you trying to plant a flag in turf for?
I'm completely against that. I disagree completely. I think that moment was awesome. I hated it at the time, being an Ohio State fan, and that game sucked. You know, going in number 2. Baker Mayfield kicks
I'm not against the planting of the flag. I'm against trying to plant a flag in turf. That's
you're
my
against
problem.
the literal act.
Yeah. Like we just praised him for being smart, but then he's just like, I'm gonna plant the flag. Great idea.
Yeah.
Playing
he's
on
also
turf.
An asshole though, you know. But yeah, my thing is, and the reason I love that is because as a Browns fan with Baker Mayfield on the roster, don't you want to see that happen in Pittsburgh?
Oh, I want to. There's a picture of me in my my Packers jersey, because since I'm so new, of me wiping my butt with a terrible towel on Facebook. So like, from the Super Bowl.
Send that to me. I got a new post I'll have to put together here.
All right, I'll find it. I'll have to figure it out. New to the Browns, but always hated Pittsburgh. But
well, no, I think the picture I have of me blowing my nose in a terrible towel is at a Super Bowl party we were at when the Packers were playing the Steelers.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl. Yep, mine was the same night.
It's probably the same terrible towel.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Shout out to Kyle Yater.
Yeah, Kyle Yater dealing cards in Columbus. If you're listening, shout out. But so we had all the bad things in college. We had that, but like the thing that really won me over, I have it in the off the field because it's like, yes, he did all that crazy shit, but like he would always kind of come for like the team when he was sick before the Georgia game, his senior year or whatever year that was, before he came out of the draft. And I remember watching it, like even before it was like an idea that he was coming to, like he was going to be drafted number 1. It was like, it would be great to have this dude on our team because he was sick. Everybody had been asking all week if he was going to play, like what was going on. And like the media day, he was going to skip it, but then he decided to come to media day when he was sick and just be like, look, I know if I'm not here, you're going to ask every one of my guys where I'm at. And I don't want you bugging them. Like this should be their time.
Yeah.
And like that to me was like
off of them.
Yeah, he's a team guy. Like, he might do something on the field, but like he's not gonna. He's out there not stealing the show. He's just doing really well.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. That's my thing. I hate when the attention's on certain people for the wrong reasons, and to be able to take that bullet and kind of see that coming to where, hey, if I'm not going to be here, it's going to be hell for my team. So
Right.
yeah,
Let's breeze through rookie season. I spent a lot more time prepping this than we need to talk about it. Obviously drafted number 1, thanks to John Dorsey making the big pick. Dressed up like Brett Favre on his draft day. Love that.
big fan. Yeah,
Big fan of Brett Favre. Big fan of, this is a big Brett Favre podcast. Um, Especially now that we're in Wisconsin, I get to come out as being in love with Brett Favre forever. Please don't send me pictures of your penis, though. Came in week 3 after Tyrod got hurt. That was our number 1 moment in the countdown on the Instagram at Browns Out of
it was.
Town, for coming in, making the Bud Light coolers open. That was just a great time to be alive and a great Thursday. I think I was at work or just off work when that happened. But
Yeah, yeah, good game all around. I think Joe Buck was on that call, and just having to listen to him call a good Baker Mayfield game after listening to him,
where do you
just
stand on
suck
Joe
off
Buck?
Kyle Schwarber.
Cleveland,
I hate
like
Joe Buck.
I know
Yeah,
Indians people hate Joe Buck.
yeah,
I love Joe Buck. He's one of the
really?
best in the game. Yeah.
Nah,
Like
I'm good.
he was on Cowherd once, and Cowherd said it the best. And I know Cowherd hates Baker, so we probably shouldn't bring him up. But Cowherd's one of the best in the game, because he even said, he goes, "I say things that are gonna make people listen and make people argue about it forever. So my name's in the thing." He's a genius. But Joe Buck was on there, and Cowherd goes, "Everybody hates you because you actually call the game like you're not a fan of anybody. So Indians fans think that you're a fan of the other team. Whoever the Indians are playing thinks you're a fan of the Indians. Like, you're very like down the road, down the middle." And so that's why everybody hates him, because it'll sound like he's cheering for the other team, and he'll sound like he hates your team.
My gripe for the 2016 World Series was that he didn't sound like he was cheering for the Cubs. He was cheering for Kyle Schwarber, like just one guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was annoying. That's all. But
I also don't care about baseball that much.
yeah,
I mean, if anybody wants to come on the podcast and talk about baseball, you're more than welcome. You and Jimmy can talk about the fucking Indians while I sit in the background and talk about how you guys have.
spiders.
Yeah, Spiders. Yeah, come on, guys, change the goddamn team name. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Just be the Cleveland Block C's. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna go to the game. Nobody is gonna go to the game anyways. The stadium's at like 30% capacity regardless after opening weekend.
Yeah, we've been social distancing for the past like 10 years.
What was that?
I said they've been social distancing for the past 10 years.
Yeah, I always said that
That's
if they need a place to social distance, they should just play all sports in Marlins Stadium, because there's never anybody in there.
No.
I don't think anybody's there. Okay, so he took over for Tyrod. Week 3, everybody loved him right off the rip. Still floundered a little bit in the next few games. Week 8, the George W. Bush of Cleveland football, Hugh Jackson, is finally gone. So is Haley, for whatever reason. But they just flushed the baby with the bathwater, bringing in our Lord and Savior Freddie Kitchens to open up the game, because nobody cared anymore. And he just looked like a rock star, throwing his 27 touchdowns. He had 14 interceptions, which is a lot, but when you're throwing 27 touchdowns, and that was in what? So math-wise here, that's only 14 games. I mean, if you would have had the whole
13,
season, you'd have crushed
13
it.
starts. Yeah, 13 starts. So and then
thanks, Hugh
whatever
Jackson.
in the second half and against the Jets. But yeah, I forget that the Browns are on hard knocks that season. So when you said fired Todd Haley for whatever reason, it was because of Hard Knocks, really.
Oh yeah, because they didn't like each other.
Confrontation. Yeah, you could see it. Yeah.
I mean, you could see the confrontation, but like you could also see like, if Hard Knocks wasn't there, that was still gonna happen. It's just Hugh Jackson had to like be like, I'm in charge, because the cameras are there.
Yeah, it's still one of the best conversations I've seen on Hard Knocks. I love
Made
that
Freddie Kitchens
conversation.
look smart, which we know that's like that's the
Yeah.
longest he's
Did
ever
Hard
been
Knocks
smart in
get
his
Freddie
life.
Kitchens a job? Yeah.
100%. They're like, look at this game tape of Freddie
Yeah.
Kitchens being smart. I don't think you can do
Yeah.
it for a full year, and I guess they were right.
Yeah.
All right, finish the season 7-8-1. I still hate that tie. We should have won that game 3
Oh yeah.
times.
Worst game ever.
Dude, what are we doing? Like, we need a kicker, and then whatever.
That season, so that happens, and then they get screwed in New Orleans because they almost beat New Orleans,
Yeah, that was an overtime
which was
game
like
as
week
well.
2. Yeah, it's crazy.
They should have. They should honestly at the beginning of that season they should have been 3-0, and that's just like Hugh Jackson's trash. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
mean, the kicker shouldn't have missed 3 field goals. Fine. You shouldn't have been
Shouldn't
in
be
that
in a position to rely on a kicker though, in my
Time
opinion.
management is Hugh Jackson has
Yeah.
always been terrible
Sorry,
at
Pat
time
McAfee.
management. It's fine. I mean, I'm sure he would even say that guy's a clown. Second season, we're really going to fly over this because neither one of us had anything to say about it. It was a forgettable season.
Nothing happened. Yeah, it was a very forgettable season.
Yeah, touchdown to interception split 22-21. Bad scheme, had to force balls to hurt receivers. Freddie Kitchens wouldn't run the ball with the best running back in the league, in my opinion. I don't get it. So
well, the other highlight to the season is obviously adding OBJ, weapons for Baker, but as we know, that didn't turn out the way we thought it would because he was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. So we added some normal wide receivers. Like that's which is kind of the cool thing is like our hurt wide receivers are normal wide receivers. I guess that's a good thing to have.
This is going to turn into they were normal wide receivers. Absolutely, that's a good way to put it. The other thing that this is going to turn into a Freddie Kitchens bitch session, but what happened to Rashad Higgins? Like, where was he?
Gone.
He's Baker's main guy. Like, and
when he resigned and everybody on the team was like, "Thank God he resigned." It was like, all right, cool. Like he's doing something.
Yeah, and then you don't see him at all. So
fucking
hopefully
Freddie
he's
Kitchens,
included this year.
Gary Indiana football coaches. They seem great on paper. Like the Jacksons came from him. Like you have Michael Jackson, and then like you just back it up with like you're the Tito of fucking towns.
Right.
All right, go into your tirade here on why I haven't even looked at this. I just want to know what you're talking about here.
I don't watch ESPN much. The clips I watch from ESPN are just on YouTube anymore because I don't have cable. So, but all I see on there from Get Up, any of the big shows, is somebody on there talking shit about Baker Mayfield for no reason. I don't get it because nothing's happening right now. He's not doing anything. The latest thing he did was stand up about saying that he's going to kneel for the national anthem. But there's constantly talk of should Stefanski bench Baker Mayfield? Should they sign Cam Newton, which we can get into if we need to. We talked about it a little bit last week.
0 for 1.
Right, exactly. But I don't understand it. Same thing happens to OBJ, but this is a Baker Mayfield episode. But I just don't understand the talking points for ESPN. I guess it's the Colin Cowherd approach. It's a name that gets viewers, but it's just annoying as a Browns fan.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of, especially after last season where like it can be a Browns thing completely. I mean Baker Mayfield gets into it because he's the face of the team and he was supposed to like save us from everything. But I mean you give him 2 shit coaches and expect him to carry the team to where.
Yeah.
But like they bring it up and like even this year they're like, well, we don't want to bury the Browns team by giving them too much attention because you see what happened last year and like we should have all known. And then they just like, but that's how they start it and they're like, we shouldn't even do this, but here we go. Like they're gonna do it.
I just want to go under the radar. I don't want anybody to talk about us. I just want to show up and play. That's it.
But why don't they talk about the Steelers? Like they got a giant porn-addicted quarterback who raped a chick in college, and like because he win a few Super Bowls, he should be on there every single episode.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's won Super Bowls. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback until like social justice warriors find out that he exists. Like it's gonna be like you don't like how do you ignore that? You have one of the most dynamic football players in the history of ever. In Lamar Jackson, you don't hear Ravens news all the time. Like, what are you just not allowed to make fun of either of those guys?
I think it's just an easy punching bag. Honestly, I think it's the Baker Mayfield highlight, the Baker Mayfield clip on YouTube is going to get likes and views, and
it's gonna piss Cleveland people off because I mean, even I'm waiting until like the right person finds our podcast because like I was a part of a Browns group for the last couple of years, and anytime you'd be like, "Why don't you run the ball?" They'll be like, "You're not a true Browns fan because you don't believe that they do everything right." And it's like, well, have you watched Browns football for the last 20 years? Like they've been
Yeah, because
trash.
I have.
Yeah, like
And they make terrible coaching decisions.
make
Like,
terrible coaching decisions. Like, do you think that like they'd be up against the Patriots? And you're like, do you think they're gonna win? And like you vote in the poll, like no, because they're not gonna win. And people are
this is a
like, oh,
Facebook
you don't
group.
believe. Yeah, it's like that's true.
Oh,
Oh,
so
what
it's a
is
bunch of
it?
boomers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dog
No, I
Pound
don't want to know what
Underground.
it is.
Oh,
Oh, no,
Dog Pound
I
Underground.
didn't care what it was. I wasn't
Um,
going to join. I was just saying it's a bunch of boomers in there probably. That
and it's just like a bunch of people who like, yes, we have a podcast about it, but their entire life is like they've been working at the same stupid fucking job for 45 years, and like
yeah,
Sunday's the only thing they have to look forward to, and then they talk about it all week, which is us. But um,
true.
like it's not like, hey, if they lose, we're gonna bitch about it for an hour, and then we're gonna move on to like the next week, and like it's not gonna ruin our entire life. Like
Right.
I don't know. Like they're not going to beat Tom Brady. Like when I went to the game when Tom Brady came back after the Deflategate suspension, and like they just got waxed like the entire game, and like people were pissed that there were so many Pats fans in the stadium. Like we're the true Browns fans. I was like I was sitting in row 3, but I was almost like I wasn't cheering on Tom Brady, but I was excited to see him back. He's the best in fucking football. Like he's
Yeah. I
great. You
mean,
watch
same thing happens. I went to the Cowboys game a couple years ago, and it was the same thing. You know, it's mostly Cowboys fans.
like when
But
we went to the Chargers game. Was that last year? And like
yeah, yeah, last year, yeah,
we went to the Chargers game
got
and
walloped.
yeah, we got destroyed. And it's just like at a certain point, you're like, Philip Rivers is just crushing at this game, and you have to
Yeah,
appreciate it. And people are like, well, not a Brown. It's like, shut up. Like, he's one of the best ever for a reason.
yeah,
But people just
yeah.
hate the Browns for no reason. Um, I do want to hit this real quick. I put a lot, like again, I put too much work into something that doesn't need to be spent that much time on. Because we talked about the past, we talked about why people hate Baker Mayfield. Let's talk about why I'm excited for Baker Mayfield this season, when slash if it happens and we get any practice in here. I did a little bit of research on Baker versus Kirk Cousins over the last 2 years. And I know that they play a different kind of style of football in the past, but I think under Stefanski, with the running game that we have, because Minnesota went through the running game well, they had a better offensive line. But I think we're getting there with the offensive line. I think our weapons on the outside are better. I think this is a good comparison worth making because Cousins, over the last 2 years in Minnesota, he had 103 passer rating, had a 69.7 completion percentage, 56 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, which is insanity. Like he doesn't turn the ball over. But the big one that I found is he had 10.8 yards per completion versus Baker having an 85.9 passer rating, 61.5% completion percentage, 49 to 35 on touchdown to interceptions, and a 12 yards per completion. Now, season 1, I think it was a big deal. Like they did that deep ball shot a lot because they had nothing to lose. But I think getting down closer to that 10 yards per reception is where we want to be with the running game and the weapons that we have. Like obviously, you open it up and have your big shots, but that's how Minnesota worked. You work through the running game, work to the wide receivers after you have the box tightened up a little bit, instead of having to force it down the field every time. So that's why Baker's numbers are going to be so high, is because his only plays are going to be those big plays. The rest are going to be interceptions or incompletions.
Right. Yeah, we touched on this last week a little bit. That Minnesota and Cleveland make up or have a similar talent level. I think it's just a matter of how it's utilized. Obviously, Minnesota utilized it a lot better than what Cleveland was able to do last year. But I think that Stefanski coming in will know how to use the weapons we do have. We have two top 10 running backs, like we talked about last week. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to, center the offense through them and then let Baker do what he can off play action.
Yeah, there's
And
no
then,
reason not to.
yeah,
So, I mean, we have an actual coaching staff. It's going to take a little bit of time to gel with the team. I mean, I'm almost giving Stefanski a pass on this season because, I mean, everybody deserves a pass. Like, it might end up like the MLB where they play 5 games and you have the fucking Jets win the Super Bowl just to get people interested.
yeah,
But the big thing that I put in here was it took Kirk Cousins to play as many. It took him 4 years to play as many games as Baker did in 2 years. So Baker has played as many like. So the point I'm trying to make with this is Kirk Cousins was a backup for so long and was just thrown in there and was like the big backup guy that was solid. Baker, yes, Hugh tried to slow it down, so he got that time to learn. Congratulations. But when you're backing up Tyrod Taylor, that's different than backing up RG3 or whoever, like some dynamic
Yeah.
player. So I mean, he's still got. It took Cousins 4 years. Like he got to dribble in and get in there, get the experience over 4 years. Baker was thrown in there in the 2 years, so like he's still got a high ceiling. Like everybody wants to make the Peyton Manning like thing since he broke the record. Um, but like you got to give him a few more seasons. I know we talked about it last week on how many seasons is he going to give Cleveland, but I think Cleveland gives him at least 5 years.
Yeah, I think they need to. We've had too many quarterbacks since 1999, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But
Right. But the
yeah,
big thing, I think, just to round off my Cousins versus Baker argument on why I think this is going to work, I think Vegas agrees with me because the only prop that they had on players right now is MVP. Kirk Cousins is a plus 5,000, again, through FanDuel, like everything else that we do on here. Kirk Cousins has a plus 5,000 chance of being the MVP. So every $100 you put down, you win 5,000. Baker is plus 2,900, so it's almost twice as easy for Baker to get MVP. They think.
Yeah, I think the reason behind that is we know who Kirk is. Like he's gonna play like last year. He's gonna play marginally better, marginally worse. Somewhere around there.
I mean, the big
what
thing is
that's what he
how
does.
much of that was Stefanski. Like it's like the Tom
Right,
Brady
right.
question because
But
he
he's
didn't
always
pop
been like
off that much.
he's not a great quarterback. He's not a terrible quarterback. He's a mediocre quarterback. We know who he is.
With a
But Baker
great
has a lot more
agent.
potential. Yeah,
With
I
a
guess
great
so.
agent. We
Jesus,
should figure out who Kirk Cousins'
you
agent
know who's
is.
got a great agent? Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, how did that not come up? What is wrong with us?
I know. I meant to bring it up earlier, but it's
It is.
insane.
Everybody else has already brought it up 1,000 times,
Yeah,
but like 10 years, 500 and some thousand, or 500 and
that's
some
a
thousand.
baseball contract, man.
Jesus
Jesus.
Lord. Did you see how much was like guaranteed? It was like 4 or
Like,
something.
yeah, it's crazy.
It must be nice. I should have been an NFL quarterback.
Right.
That's what I should have chose to be. Um, let's hit the second to last thing. Your boy Baker kneeling for the anthem. How do you feel about it?
I'm okay with it. I think more people need to stand up for that. Not stand up literally, but stand up for what they believe in. Not
Right,
stand up for the national anthem, but
are you okay with it or are you pro it? Because there's a very big difference.
If there's gonna be drama around the Browns,
yeah,
I would 100% rather have it be around Baker kneeling for the national anthem. There are other things that would annoy me much more, and this doesn't annoy me at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. And I mean, what's he supposed to do? Like he's not Drew Brees. Drew Brees is 40,000 years old. Like
Yeah.
Baker's like grown up where in a society where like you're allowed to talk about black people being put down by whoever it may be, the entire system. By the way, again, if you hate it, get over it, get a life. This is a Browns podcast, but the Browns are part of life. And when millionaires talk about things actually changing, we have to bring it up. So, I mean, and like, what is it? 65% of NFL locker rooms are black people. So, like, most of your friends most of the people you work with are people who are like systematically fucked. They just happen to be very good at something that pays a lot of money.
Right.
And a lot of them come from poor circumstances and are lucky to get out of there because of the system. How are you not going to – like, you would be a bad leader if you didn't – like, if you talked to the other people on your team and they were like, look, this is what we want to do. You're like, yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like, it doesn't matter.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Baker. I mean, he's an outspoken guy. Of course he's going to kneel for the anthem.
And it's for a good cause. It's not like he's not – I'm sick of the art. Like, we don't need to do 45 minutes on this, but like, I'm sick of the like, it's disrespecting the flag, it's disrespecting the troops. Like, at first, Kaepernick sat on the bench, and then they talked to, well, who was it, Nate Solder or something like that? Like, somebody who was actually a veteran pulled him aside and was like, the most respectful way to do it is to kneel, so you don't do this. Like, it got lost in the sauce somewhere. So like, they talked to a veteran. and he said to kneel because it's more respective to the flag, and it still
Yeah.
makes your point, and you're still there with the rest of your team. And it's like, how there's no argument here. Like, you're just mad
Yeah.
that people want to want to
Richard
change things.
Jefferson, former Cleveland Cavalier champion Richard Jefferson, had a good
NBA
take on it
champion
on
Richard
ESPN the other day.
Jefferson.
Yeah. Yeah. He talks about it's not about kneeling. It's about what the kneeling means. You stop talking about people kneeling. Start talking about why they're kneeling. That's what it is.
But why don't you use your platform to like? There are so many people who watch NFL football
Yeah.
that is like, you're getting paid to play. Why do they need to be on the field for the national anthem that wasn't even done until the Army started dumping money into it? Like, why
Right.
is all of my tax money
Yeah.
being spent on a stupid song being played before an NFL game? Like, why? Just don't play the thing. You can put it in your iPod, pretend that you do it. Do you stand up and salute the flag at home when it comes on your television?
Yeah. You're sitting on your couch, like in between piss breaks,
Yeah.
eating a hot dog. These guys can kneel.
Yeah, fine. Who gives a shit? And I mean, if you are standing up at home, like if you are a vet and you stand up at home, I'm sorry. But if you're not and you stand up at home, you're a fucking nerd
But you
for
have to
life.
agree, 98% of people watching NFL games are not doing anything during the national anthem.
99.9. 98 is very, like,
I was being conservative. Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yep.
giving them a lot of
Way too
credit.
conservative. Why did I give them that extra percent?
They don't deserve it at this point. All right. Are you ready for the line that I wrote the other day that I thought was a really good line? And now that I
Go for
read
it.
it, it's not a really good line.
I literally just read it like 30 seconds ago, so go for it.
I'm embarrassed by it now, but I got to do it. From a quarterback who wants to kneel for justice to a history of quarterbacks that have abused our psyches, let's rank some quarterbacks.
Let's rank some quarterbacks, and we need some like music for this.
Bop, 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 bop.
There you go.
It's the top. All right, so I have a list pulled up of the quarterbacks since 1999. I should have asked, like, so obviously it's Browns quarterbacks. Is it the best or our favorite?
I was going, a combination of the both is
Okay.
what I did. Yeah.
Because when I looked at it,
this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to explain this. So, Ray is not a lifelong Browns fan. He might try to say that he is, but he's not.
I've never
Since
said
I've known
that.
him, he's a Packers fan. Well, just in case you do try to, I'm going to get this disclaimer out. Since I've known Ray, he's been a Packers fan. He started being a Browns fan once I met him, which is, I don't know, coincidence or whatever. But
I wanted to be cool like you.
Yeah. So cool. Me, my Browns fan, just all this misery in my life. It's intoxicating. Yeah. So I thought it'd be cool to have us rank, our top 5 quarterbacks since 1999 when the Browns came back. So let's debut this. What do you think?
Are we doing 5 to 1? Okay.
5 to 1. Yep, 5 to 1. You want to go number 5?
Yeah, I'll start with my number 5 because I wanted to do a mix of one, my favorites, and two, the best ones, because like there's arguably like there's some legit quarterbacks that just sucked for us. But number 5 for me.
One second. Let me say this too. I'm interested to see, obviously what number 5 is and how far back you actually go in this list, because I've been a Browns fan. I remember watching some of these older quarterbacks in the 1999, 2000s. So I'm interested to see if you go back that far.
My number 5 is Doug Peterson.
Okay.
Like, I'm going right
like one game.
That doesn't. It's. Excuse me, Mr. Browns fan. He played 8 games.
That many? Wow. Okay.
In the 2000 season, he won a Super Bowl. Like, he's a Super Bowl winning coach, so he had to be in the top 5.
Sure.
And he was the quarterback coach for Brett Favre. Everybody loves Brett Favre now. Like, he's just for legacy in itself on a list of like on a trash can list of quarterbacks.
On a list of
it.
garbage quarterbacks. Okay, Doug Peterson. You might as well throw him on there. Okay, he probably is the most accomplished out of my list as well, based off actually winning a Super Bowl. Because I don't think one of them might have a Super Bowl. We'll see here. We'll get to that later. My number 5 is Kelly Holcomb.
Kelly Holcomb.
He only started like 12 games, which I thought he started more than that throughout his career from like 2000 to 2004, I think it was. But he is the last quarterback in recent Browns history to lead them to a playoff game and to play in a playoff game. He ended up losing to the Steelers in I think it was 2003, but that's Kelly Holcomb, number 5.
All right, number 4. I don't want to do the Akron connection, so I'm not gonna say Tim Couch because I mean whatever. Uh, number 4, just because he again, great quarterback other places, uh, and he's Jake Delhomme. He went to a Super Bowl. He was a great
Okay.
quarterback for the Panthers. He just fizzled for us for some reason. Like I don't
Yeah, he was
know if it's
dog shit for us. Yeah.
yeah. I
It's because he
mean,
was older, and there's a
he
reason
got a
Carolina didn't
paycheck
want him
from
again.
us. He got a paycheck.
Got a paycheck. That's pretty much what he did. Yeah.
Oh, I do
That
have
that's
a. Can I do a like an asterisk for number 4 just as an honorable
sure.
mention who almost did it just because of the hometown connection because I grew up like the first high level football games I ever watched were University of Toledo football games when I was a kid, and Bruce Gradkowski. I forgot that he had played a game for us until
That
I
he
looked at
played a
this
game. Yeah.
one single game in '08. Bruce Gradkowski.
This
Uh,
list is going about as well as I thought it was going to go. Yeah.
All right, who's your number 4?
You said Tim Couch had an Akron connection. What is that?
He went to Akron.
No, he went to Kentucky. You're
No, he
thinking Charlie
did.
Fry. Look at
Oh,
this
Charlie
fucking Browns
Fry.
fan here, running the Browns
God,
podcast over here. God damn.
whatever.
All right, back to number 4 for the real Browns fans list. My number 4 quarterback is Tim Couch.
Okay.
The number 1 overall pick, NFL draft 1999 out of Kentucky. Was with the Browns for I think 4 or 5 seasons. Eventually replaced by Kelly Holcomb, and I think it was Jeff Garcia. Had a lot of potential. This guy should have been a lot better. Just was under a dog shit coaching staff. Between Carson Palmer and Butch Davis, just couldn't do anything with him. But I think he should have done so much better. And I'm so happy that he's starting to do the preseason games, which apparently there won't be any of. But
Right.
I really enjoyed seeing
Baker
him on
Mayfield's
the
not allowed on
preseason
this
games.
list, right?
Yeah,
Oh, well, he's number
he's a
1.
quarterback
He should
since
be.
'99.
He's number 1. I'm not adding him in my list. It's an asterisk. But go ahead. Continue the
Okay.
rest of your thing. Sorry.
No, that's all I had. But just that I'm glad he's back in Cleveland doing some work with the WKYC, I think. But
He's not terrible on television. I'll
yeah,
give him that. I like that. We should do a list of the quarterbacks that we hate because I have so much hate for
we
so
could do
many
that.
people on this
We could do
list.
that next time. Yeah,
Yeah, we should do that.
that would be actually pretty good.
Like I should love Trent
We
Dilfer,
could
but like
when we're done with this,
yeah, go
we
ahead.
could pause this and then come back with the top 5 terrible quarterbacks after
No,
if
we'll
you
do
wanted
that.
to.
We'll do that for our wide receiver episode. We'll put people
Okay,
who should have made our wide receiver core better but didn't.
that
Um,
works.
all right, number
Number
3.
2.
Um, since Baker's not on my list because he's obviously our favorite now. Number 3, just because again, a quarterback that I love to hate, he will end up on my hate list. Brady Quinn. Um,
Okay.
I remember being at the Delt House the night that he came in and just stunk up the room.
Yeah.
He was garbage. Notre Dame quarterback, brother-in-law of national champion, Super Bowl champion, and all-around better football player, AJ Hawk.
True.
And just like with his sister in that dumb 50-50 jersey, like that was one of the best nights of my life. I know that you're like maritally obligated to be a Notre Dame fan now, but I hate Notre Dame almost as much as Michigan. So I loved watching him be terrible with the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah, he was awful. Best thing that ever happened to Brady Quinn, or best thing that ever happened with Brady Quinn, is highlight of his career. You know what it is?
What's that?
Being traded for Peyton Hillis.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that worked. Like both of their careers were just about as long. So
I mean, you'd say Peyton Hillis had a better career though.
at least one of them
Madden.
ended up on the cover of Madden.
Yeah, he was on Madden. So
Yeah.
my number 3 is Derek Anderson.
Okay.
The next quarterback on the list that should have led the Browns to the playoffs, but didn't because of I think it was the Colts that screwed us that year.
Yeah, I mean he's
remember
number
right.
2 on mine, so I mean take as long as you want to talk about him.
Yeah, they went 10-6 that year. It was a good season. Kellen Winslow Jr., Braylon Edwards. That was the year Jamal Lewis came over from the Ravens, and I think that was the year after he broke the rushing yards per game record, which what he didn't do with the Browns, obviously he did with the Ravens, but
Mm-hmm.
so he was actually a halfway decent running back when we got him, which never happens. So Derek Anderson's number 3.
Yep, he's my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Brian Hoyer,
Okay.
which I'm assuming is your number 1 if Baker Mayfield's not on the list. But,
Nope.
No, really. Oh, yeah. Brian Hoyer's my number 2.
Why?
Probably should have led the Browns to the playoffs again that year. 2011? No, 2014. I'm way off of my years. They went 7-9 that year, I believe, and I'm probably wrong. Fact check me. But there's so much more potential with that team, and the way that Brian led that team that year, especially with Johnny Manziel behind him, was not a good situation for him. But I think if Johnny wasn't there, Brian's a little bit more focused, and they do a lot better.
Yeah, because my number uno. I mean, yeah, he was a good quarterback. I'm like, to me, if it's somebody who's good and then just like the team falls apart underneath them, like it shouldn't have happened. And I get like Brian Hoyer because he's with the Patriots now still, right? Like so.
Did he get re-signed with Patriots? He might have.
I think so. I think that's the backup to. He was the backup to Stidham. He's probably going to be coaching somewhere soon.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He's also from Lakewood. I didn't realize he's from Cleveland.
Yeah, St. Ignatius.
Oh, well, that's another reason to hate him. But sorry, Cleveland high school football fans. I went to a high school who can't win anything. So, yeah, I mean, he's a good quarterback. I like him. He's a stable guy. He's always a good dude to have in the locker room. But the best dude to have in your locker room, and I want him now more than ever because I saw him on an interview. It was this morning, I believe, and I didn't forget that he played for us, but he's my favorite. The one and only Josh McCown.
There you go. Solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. He's a great guy to have in there. I mean, he should be our quarterback coach, but he wanted to play football more. Like, he's the best.
I know. Yeah. I do wish he was on the coaching staff. He's so good for the locker room. That's a good point.
Like, they should bring him in to be the backup.
He'd be so good for Baker. Yeah.
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 Because he's a Texas dude, too, isn't he? Didn't he go to
what's that?
Where'd McCown go to college?
Let me see.
I'm looking it up right now. I thought you might have known off the top of your head.
No.
East Texas Player of the Year.
State.
Yeah, Sam Houston, which is it's in Texas.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Huntsville, Texas. I mean, he's a Texas dude, underrated for no reason. Like he's just a good player. Love the dude.
Yeah.
Who's your number one? We already know who your number one is.
It's Baker. I didn't have any honorary mentions on my terrible quarterback list, but Baker's number one. Obviously, I think he's got the most potential out of anybody here. Hopefully, he'll prove to be our number one in the future. There's no reason to believe he shouldn't at this point. He's a talented kid.
Not Seneca Wallace.
It is not Seneca Wallace. It is not Colt McCoy. It is not Jeff Garcia.
Colt McCoy's
not Doug Peterson. Ty Detmer.
I'm not going to talk about Colt McCoy, but he's going to be at the very, very one or two on my quarterbacks that I hate because I was all in on Colt McCoy.
Yeah, there were a lot of quarterbacks that was all in on. So I think the first one was probably Jeff Garcia.
You have to find that take for next week because I know you found it and you sent it to me about my Colt McCoy take. So that's got to be featured.
Yeah,
so,
I'll find it to you.
Yeah, that's it's probably in the text.
I can't believe you thought Tim Couch went to Akron.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. I was 9. Like, why would I know that? And I was like you said, I was a Packers fan when it happened anyway. So like it doesn't.
Hey, Tim Couch played for the Packers.
Yeah, for a hot second.
Yeah. He's back up.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's Tim Couch. He was there for a minute. Everybody thought he was gonna run the like. You draft a Kentucky quarterback. What do you think's gonna happen? All right. Anything else that you want to hit, Mr. Crawford?
No, let's end this before it gets more depressing.
I mean, this lasted twice as long as I thought it would. So this is some extra content for you guys. But again, thank you for listening to the Browns Out of Town podcast. Hit us up at Browns Out of Town. Again, rate, review, subscribe, reach out on social media. For sure, hit us with your top 5 Browns quarterbacks or save your bottom 5 for the next time. But hit us with your top 5. Browns quarterbacks. Hit that up for all your Browns news, NFL news as well. One of these days we'll get a YouTube's up, but that's good. And if you hit the support tab, you can get a shout out that I just did for free. I don't know. We'll figure something out. I'll kiss an envelope and send it to you if you give us money for the support tab.
Yeah.
Because if 1 million people give us $1, that's $1 million.
Yeah. Hey, let's pimp this promotion again here. I know on the Instagram there, I said I would drink this warm, probably expired 73 Kolsch if we hit
Is that the
500
one that I
followers
bought you, or
for our
did
first
you
episode.
find it before I bought it for you?
This is from when you came out. I don't remember if you bought it or if I bought it.
No, it was around that time.
So,
shout out to Joe
regardless,
Thomas.
I said that originally if we got 500 followers before the first episode dropped, that I would shotgun this. Let's do it if we get 500 followers. What, in the next 2 months?
Or ever?
That's doable.
I mean, once we get 500.
Yeah. How about this? Yeah, once we hit 500, preferably sooner than later, because I don't want that to get more expired. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, breaking news as of 42 minutes ago and 2 days ago, once this comes out, probably Jedrick Wills officially signed. So let's fucking do it.
Not surprising, but sure.
So, yeah, okay. At Browns Out of Town, rate, review, subscribe, share it with people if you like it, share it with people if you don't like it. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I'm Ray Roberts at Who is Ray Roberts on everything, whoisrayroberts.com. Jimmy, say your Instagram again. All right, Jimmy took his headphones out, but it's at Beers Bourbon Barbecue. His microphone's not working because he works in technology but doesn't get how technology works. Thanks for listening. Football!